What's good, Wizards fans? It's your host, the real Ed Oliver and Brandon Scott. The Washington Wizards lose to the 76ers 128 to 146. They allowed Joel Embiid to score 48 points. But we're going to talk about who stood out from the young guys and recap the game. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, my guy, Brandon Scott. The Washington Wizards lose again, 120 to 146 to the 76ers. The Washington Wizards are now 1-5 and 0-4 in away games. Another similar script tonight where they just end up getting blown out, and then West waves the white flag, and they put the bench in, some of the young guys. So, Brandon, we're going to start with the young guys again. What was your evaluation? What were some positives you saw from the young group and some negatives that you saw from the young guys?
Looking at the young guys, man. I don't know if you consider Denny a young guy now. Kind of not, but I'm gonna roll with him as a young guy. Played well. We brought up the fact that him being that third scoring option, I definitely think he is. I mean, if you look at the stat line, man, 27 minutes, which is a big plus to me. 16 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 5 for 8 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. I mean, only 1 turnover, got a steal. I mean, he looked good. Because, I mean, and we're going to talk about the vets and starters later, but Denny looked good. He definitely looks like he solidified himself as a third scorer. But get into the true young guys. I mean, Bilal got 19 minutes. That's a good sign as far as minutes-wise. 10 points, 3 rebounds. His shots still coming along. But, I mean, that 1-3, the release looked quicker. But off night from Johnny Davis and Corey Kispert, man. Kispert seems to – I don't know where he's at, man. He's had a rough couple games, 0 for 2 overall, 3 points, 2 turnovers, and Johnny Davis, 2 for 8 from the field. So I think the biggest thing, I mean, like I said, the positives, like I said, Denny being that the third scoring option. And Bilal, you see the potential as far as his offensive side, the dunk, as far as on the run, man, and transition, he's money. It's just when the offense is set, you see this with a lot of the young guys, man. Is a hesitancy to drive the lane. I don't understand it. It bugs me because there's times in the game where you see there's an avenue where Bilal or even Johnny Davis can drive and they're hesitant. Like I said, in transition, Koulibaly with that speed, man, he's money. Obviously, the defense is money, but like I said, when the offense is set, his hesitancy to drive the lane is questionable. So as far as his offensive game, man, I want to see him drive more, try to get more fouls, man, get to the free throw line. But the young guys, it was a struggle tonight. Looking at the bench period. Ryan Rollins, 10 minutes. Ryan Rollins does what he does. I mean, just in 10 minutes, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, but 5 turnovers. So, if he wants to be that backup point guard of the future, he's got to really deal with those turnovers. And Eugene, Emery, underwhelming game, 10 points. Not 10 points, 10 minutes, but 4 points, 4 rebounds. But again, 3 turnovers and 4 personal fouls, which a lot of that had to do with them trying to find some way, if there is a way, to stop Joel Embiid. And that just, and like I said, we're going to talk about the starting unit, how Daniel Gafford had a pretty good quarter. But as far as the young guys, man, Bilal, and like I said, I don't know if we consider Denny a young guy anymore, but I feel like he looks solid this year, man. I mean, from the offense standpoint, he has done everything we've asked him to do. Now, if you want to get in specifics, the left hand, he still needs to work a lot on the left hand. He's still right-hand dominant. But overall, Denny has really proven to be that third scorer, man. He really has. And, looking at Bilal, you see the potential offensively. It's just he's got to be more aggressive, especially driving the lane and trying to get those fouls, man. And he's got to be more aggressive. So that's what I want to see from Bilal going forward, man, is being more aggressive. Same thing with Johnny. He's got to work on that efficiency. So, underwhelming, but we're still early in the rebuild, man. So we're still seeing what they can do. And Johnny Davis is we'll see.
Yeah, Johnny had some up and down moments. He had a floater that can't remember whether it was airballed or blocked, but he had a floater that was off, but he stuck with it, got an offensive rebound and put it back. Had a transition layup. He had an awkward floater and missed. I wrote it in my notes. He missed a floater and then had to put back. Then he had another put back as well. So I thought Johnny Davis played hard. Didn't have his best game tonight. Blau, just to piggyback off what you said, he's still working on his offensive game.
Yeah.
He did have an open three, and he ended up with 10 points. He did knock down that open three, so I like that he was confident in taking the shot. But yeah, sometimes, he does get stuck in that no man's land offensively where he's just hesitating. 3 for 3 from the free throw line as well. Looked really good in transition, like you said as well. Taking it coast to coast at one point. And out of the other young guys, Corey Kispert didn't have his best game, but he was coming off of injury. So I'm not going to give him a hard time. Of course, defensively, teams target him defensively. They target all our guys defensively. They just do.
Yeah.
But he's coming back from an injury, so I definitely give him some time to get his legs back under him. Johnny and let me see who else out of the young guys. Gafford, we talked about him. I thought he played well in that first quarter. I don't know if he's considered as a young guy too. But that first quarter he played well. I thought Joel Embiid definitely gave him a elbow for sure. They challenged it, and then they called a technical foul on Joel Embiid. It's like if you're going to call a technical foul on Joel Embiid, you might as well call an offensive foul as well. So I thought there was some home cooking in Philly as well with that. That didn't make any sense to me at all. But from that standpoint, Eugene, he played with physicality as well. He played pretty hard up and down, but he got in some foul trouble with 4 fouls. I mean, only played in 11 minutes, got 4 fouls. But you just love the energy that you see from him. That's the only positive I can really say right there. And then Rollins, I want to say it was Patrick Beverly tried to steal the ball from him. Did a spin move, got to the basket, finished really well. Then he had a nice pass to Anthony Gill in transition for a dunk too. So that's really it from the young guys for the most part. And we'll talk about the veterans. But yeah, basically it's that same script. And I said it last night. I really want to see a competitive game just to see minutes.
Yeah,
be distributed, and can the young guys get in earlier in a competitive game? But once again, we see the same script that we saw from before, another blowout.
Yeah, different game, same result. I mean, it's how it's going to be, man. I mean, against a team like the 76ers where, I think they're better without James Harden because they got the right pieces to fit around Joel Embiid. And like I said, Joel Embiid, man, that first quarter, I agree with you. I was very, very proud of Gaff, man, because he showed energy and he was tough against Embiid to the point where Embiid was getting mad. He got a couple, all blocks were in the first quarter. So, I believe so. Yeah, all 5 were in the first quarter, if not 4 out of the 5. But, he looked good. But, I looked at a couple of comments, and I've said this time and time again, man. I don't know if it's conditioning, cardio, what's going on, but, he's usually a one-quarter player. Like, you'll see an aggressive Gaff, man, and then he just resorts to, falling for these crazy fouls. And I get it, man. It's a tough guard, Joel Embiid, man. Tough guard because he's, if not the best, one of the best. Jokic, but anybody else not named Jokic, he's probably the best center in the NBA. He's just that versatile. You saw tonight, man. He's hitting Jays, he's hitting mid range. He brought the ball, but he's just a very versatile guy for his size, man. So that's a tough cover. But Daniel Gafford looked good in the first quarter, and then he's gone. So yeah, but going back to the young guys, man. And I guess you're kind of right. You kind of still consider him a young guy, but underwhelming. I saw glimpses from Bilal, but here's the thing: is just the biggest thing I got to tell everybody, and I got to tell myself, is patience, man. It's gonna be a long ride, and you do see the potential with Bilal in his offensive game. It's going to come along with more experience, man. It's like we always compare it to Sam Howell and the Commanders, man. He's practically a rookie, so it's just getting that playing time, getting that experience. I think you're going to start to see a better player as the year goes by. He's going to really get the kinks out of his offensive game. So I'm not too concerned, man. But like you said, Kispert coming off an injury, but this year I want to see more from him. And Johnny Davis, again, he is showcasing for a job, man. He's got to, with the play minutes, he's got to perform, man. Let's see how many minutes. 13 minutes. So like I said, but that's the thing, though. I'm looking at the minutes. I kind of wanted to see more minutes for Johnny because, Shamet didn't play. So, the minutes is, I think West has got to really figure out the minutes as far as trying to equally distribute the minutes, man. But, and I know it's easy said and done, but Yeah, Bilal to me was probably the young guy tonight, excluding Denny or Gaff, that really looked decent tonight. So
yeah. I want to see some more minutes for Johnny as well. Of course, he's going to earn them. But yeah, 2 for 8 from the field, 4 points, had a shot blocked as well. So it's a process with Johnny. It's a process with Johnny. So, but we're going to talk about the veterans and just break down the rest of the game. And before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. So my bet of the day that I put in on FanDuel was Kyle Kuzma getting 20 points. He ended up with 28 points. So, I mean, I've been betting on him getting 20 points each game this season, and it's hit. It's usually like minus 155, minus 160. So it's not the best odds in the world, but it's a shoe-in, So it's like you bet $100, you get $50. So something like that. It's a pretty easy 100% bet that I put in every single day. So they're probably going to change the odds on that. But if you want to take the spread, you want to take the opposing teams to beat the Wizards by more points than what their what the spread is, that has been basically 100% wager as well. Vlogger also says over under 10 wins this season, fellas. So it's looking tough on that.
Yeah.
For the season starting on FanDuel, I think it was like 24.5, and I was really staying at the under on that. I definitely should have took the under on that. I don't know why I didn't take it. But moving on. Make sure you guys, thanks for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Every day is tomorrow on the show. We should be having guest David Harrison from Locked On Commanders. He also writes for the Wizards on Sports Illustrated as well. So he will be coming on the show. We will be having him on as a guest. So it should be a lot of fun. All right, Brandon. So what was your thought about the veterans and just the game take overall? What were your thoughts on recap the game?
I mean, the starting five was the start of the show today, man. I mean, if you look at, Kuz, I mean, this is several things I'm going to say about Kuz, man. But first of all, looking at his stat line, 28 points, shot 12 for 20. So the efficiency was good tonight, man. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 4 for 5 from 3. So he was money tonight. We talked about Denny, his stat line. Jordan Poole again, 23.6 assists. So he looked better tonight. Tyus Jones, 6 assists, 12 points, 5 for 13 efficiency, but two steals. I thought the starting five looked solid. I mean, they look really good. I think that tonight, not that we're really looking at why they lost, but I guess I would point out the bench. The bench and the young guys, they were very underwhelming, but starting five looked good. Now, Kyle Kuzma, man, I'll say this, man. We talked a lot about leadership. You saw him talking to Denny a lot, man. I forget what happened. I don't know if it was where Denny got stripped, and I think it was Paul Reed dunked on him, and Kyle Kuzma kind of came up, talked to him, he pretty much told him what he's going to do was he was going to dish it out to someone outside and hit that three and get him some confidence. You saw them talking a lot, man. That's what I want to see. That's leadership. I like what I saw from that standpoint tonight. I know that Chris Miller and Drew Gooden, they kind of mentioned it too. So that's good to see because these two guys, really learning off each other. I love it, man. I love the leadership from Kuz. But Jordan Poole, we've been hard on him. Obviously, efficiency. Now there's still a couple of questionable moves he did, man. I believe it was the first quarter, man, where he tried to pass it out and then it ends up going out of bounds and stuff like that. But I think it's still a learning curve with him, man. He's still a young guy. He's they gave him the green light. He's feeling free. He wants, but he's got to dial. He needs to dial down a little bit. But I felt that he was a little more under control tonight. So, but his stat line was money. I like what I saw from him. So Gafford, I'm gonna get on Gafford a little bit, man. Again, first quarter, he was decent, man. But that's the thing; they don't hand out trophies for nice first quarters, man. Like, you gotta play all four, man. You gotta be. And I don't know if it's conditioning. I mean, cardio's been an issue with him the entire time in DC, man. I don't know if that was an issue in Chicago. Maybe it was the reason they flipped him. I don't know, but conditioning has been an issue, and you can't just play one quarter. You got to play off. The personal fouls continue to be an issue. And again, and Joel Embiid's a hard cover, man. I mean, there's not many centers, but then again, Bam cooked him. I mean, time and time again, man. I mean, how many centers in this league are you confident that Daniel Gafford can really match up well against. I mean, we'll see, because Wednesday night you still got Nick Richards. You got Mark. I mean, how does he match up against Mark Williams? And we know what Nick Richards is, a wizard killer. So I like Gaff, man. But I need to see more, man. I need to see more if you want to be that starter, because to me, the GM's coming out a little bit. I mean, to me, with him being in an extension, the money's just right for him to be a salary filler, man, if he's not that long-term answer. And I know that, a lot of people talking about James Wiseman. We're going to save that for another episode. We're really going to talk about James Wiseman, man. But, something's got to happen. He said, I got to see more than one quarter, man. Because like I said, if you get trophies for one quarter, then, I mean, we got to we have a trophy room full of, it's just, I need to see more from Gaff, man. But overall, the vets, man, this first unit is what kept this somewhat respectable. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, Gaff, he tries. I thought the first quarter was really good. He had 4 blocks in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And I brought it before. I thought that was an offensive foul on Joel Embiid. So I thought he had a good first quarter. Then West went zone in the second half, and Joel Embiid, of course, he hit every wide open mid-range shot that he had right in the middle of the zone that we just let him keep catching the basketball. It got to the point where it's like they might as well just deny him the ball, just not let him touch it. Honestly, just put 2 people on him. I know they would have given up a bunch of threes, but the guys at that point got that bad. Of course, they gave up a bunch of threes anyway. They gave up 3 threes to Nicholas Batum.
Yeah.
Let me just pull up the stats here and just see how many threes we gave up to guys.
Because I know in the first quarter, they tried to double team him, and Tyrese Maxey hit one on him.
Yeah, so it's hard to double. It's kind of like you pick your poison. Tobias Harris went off in the first quarter. DeAnthony Melton hit up with 4 threes. DeAnthony Melton, they talked about on the broadcast how he was shooting 29%. From the field, and of course he has a get right game against the Washington Wizards. He has a breakout game. He ended up with where is DeAnthony Melton? And somebody talked about Pat Beverly trying to being a try hard too. He definitely came out there and was just being that's just how Patrick Beverly is. He's gonna try to taunt and showboat.
Oh yeah,
and whatnot. So yeah, Melton hit 4 threes. Maxey hit 3. Batum came off the bench and hit 3 threes. They were 12 for 31 from the 3, which is fine, 37%. We shot better than from the 3-point line. But yeah, once again, we don't defend the 3-point line well. We don't get back in transition. Tyrese Maxey had a layup line at one point in that third or fourth quarter. He just kept getting to the basket pretty easily, and we had no answer for Joel Embiid. But yeah, it really is a similar script. There was one point in the second quarter where West had the all bench lineup. So when I see people complain about that, that was something that didn't work at all. The starters didn't work either. But the bench lineup definitely helped the Sixers get to break out to a lead for sure. Just thinking about the game too, I didn't like how Markieff Morris hip checked Dale Gafford. I thought he got away with the not a flagrant, but I thought that was just not a basketball play, so that could have been a technical foul. But yeah, once again, we struggled to guard the 3-point line. We struggled to get stops. The zone didn't work at all. We struggled to get back on defense. And offensively, yes, I do think Jordan Poole was better today. I think he was locked in. He was more focused. His shot selection was a lot better. Even though he took a couple of deep threes, he was making them 4 for 9 from the 3-point line, 8 for 15 from the field. A lot better, a much better game from him. And then Kyle Kuzma, 28 points. I thought he got to the basket a lot, 4 for 5 from the 3-point line. So it was a better shooting game from him. They had good games, and we're still getting blown out like this. And I have no complaints about Jordan Poole today, really. He airballed a mid-range jumper at the beginning, but, he had a short memory on that. Gallinari, 4 minutes. He was unplayable today. He was getting cooked by Paul Reed on one play. Landry Shamet is a DNP, so we don't even get trade value up for these guys. So it's just looking rough right now. It is, but I get it. It's a trust the process situation where we're looking into the future. The guys who were trying to get the trade value up, and DeLon Wright only got 5 minutes too, and he's a guy that we're supposed to be trading too. So guys that Muscala only 3 minutes. He was pretty awful tonight too. He got blocked. So even the guys who are in expiring deals who we're really looking at to get traded, they barely played, So and I know we want to play some of the young guys more, so I don't disagree with it. But yeah, it's tough when you have guys on the roster that you're looking to trade, and their trade value is not going to go up anyway. It's a long conversation to have, another day. But yeah, it's just rough. It was another rough one.
No, you hit the nail on the head, man. Look, buy out Shamet. Spy him out. Buy Gallo out. What are we doing? I mean, give Johnny some minutes. Eugene Emery, he needs good minutes. Look, this is all about evaluating the young guys, man. Buy these guys out. I mean, like you said, Gallo, man, he might as well have a walker out there with some tennis balls on him, man. I mean, he's just You know what I mean? He's just slow, man. I'm gonna say, man, he's just 4 minutes. You practically, I don't know why they gave him 4 minutes. I just start buying these guys out. Let's start getting minutes for these young guys, man. They have no trade value. Who are we gonna trade him for? I mean, DeLon, man, DeLon's a different player this year, man. He's been a little underwhelming himself. So looking at these expiring deals, I mean, who would you move? To me, the only guy right now that has trade value right now would be Tyus Jones. And even then, Jordan Poole ain't ready to take point. So, I think that Tyus might play the year out. We'll see. But yeah, I don't see much value because Shamet, if he ain't hitting threes, he ain't hitting nothing. He's a statue. So to me personally, I think they need to start buying guys out, man. Just buy them out. Start getting these young guys some minutes. So that's where I'm at with, man. Starting five looks straight, but again, you two, Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma dropping 20 plus, and we still get blown out, man. So
right.
But that's the script they're playing by, and that's what we're gonna watch, man. Like I said, it's a sitcom. So
it really is. It really is a script. But we're gonna get to comments here. But before we do that, we have a quick word from Brandon.
Yes, sir. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Jase Medical. So looking at there's a lot of uncertainty in the world today, right? There's unrest in the Middle East, fires in Hawaii, hurricanes and tornadoes in Florida, earthquakes, and all kinds of things coming up that can lead to supply chain shortages for medication or the inability to get medications when you need them most. So I got a solution for y'all. It's the Jase Case. And the Jase Case is a personalized emergency medication kit that contains 5 essential antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. You can also customize your case and add additional life-saving medications based on your unique needs. So I'm a big believer in having what you need, man. I'm, military dude, man. So I believe in having certain medicines, any kind of tools that your family's going to need in the event of any kind of unrest, disease. I mean, anything big that happens, man. I definitely recommend the Jase Case because it has a lot in there, man. So, hey, if you think you want to get a Jase Case, all you got to do is go to jasemedical.com and enter promo code locked on at checkout, and you get a $20 discount on your order. That's promo code locked on at jasemedical.com. And again, I cannot recommend it enough, y'all. Definitely consider it. Because you never know what you're going to need in any kind of emergency situation. So, and thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. Every day is tomorrow. Again, we have David Harrison, who does Locked On Commanders, and he does also a writer on Inside the Wizards for SI. So we definitely going to chop it up with him tomorrow night about the Wiz kids, man.
Yes, sir. I'm already laughing at some of these comments. Oh man, Deshaun says Kispert and DeLon have been so bad, it's sickening to see. Yeah, DeLon has not looked good, and that's the unfortunate thing about it is that his trade value. I'm not saying his trade value is a lot anyway. I'm not expecting to get a first round pick or anything close to that. Maybe a second round pick. Basically, what you got from Monte Morris, second round pick. Right now, like you said, Brandon, it's getting to the point where some of these guys they're just straight up just going to have to get bought out. Like you're not going to get anything from Shamet. You're going to have to, hope that a team trades for Shamet and some other guys. Now, somebody may trade for Shamet just because he can shoot. He's a known shooter. Hasn't really done it so far. He hasn't played in a lot of games. Now, if he's getting a DNP, that just I don't we'll see what happens with that. And then Gallo is just unplayable. He can't move. I mean, he it's like a cone on defense, cement in the shoes, cement feet. Can barely jump over a cup. Looks like he needs AARP. I mean, all that stuff. He can barely move. Muscala can barely move. If he's not hitting threes, he doesn't provide much value. Pat Baldwin, I don't know what's going on with him. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying as far as the young guys too, he's not even suiting up. I think he's going to be on a G League team, and I was kind of excited when they brought him over. But yeah, man, the veterans are just not. They are what they are, basically. Yeah. And Kispert, like I said, I'm not going too hard on Kispert because he just came back from an injury. He had a great game against the Grizzlies. He's had one really, really good game. Some of the other games have been solid. So I just want to see how he comes back from the injury. I give him some time. This is his first game back. I'll give him a pass. We play a lesser opponent in the Hornets. We'll talk about that tomorrow as far as a preview, but I think the Hornets game will finally be our first close game in a long time. I don't think it's going to be the waving the white flag. I think that one's actually going to be a competitive game where it goes I'll say at least to the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we got a chance, man, because I think we got the Hornets twice. We got them in Charlotte Wednesday night, and then we come Friday night for the in-season tournament game against them. So, I mean, like you said, this is an opponent that is very similar. I think that, they want to play hard. These are 2 winnable games. Please win Friday night, because I'll be there with the wife, man. Please win for your boy, man. Please win for your boy. But, yeah, we'll see. Because like you said, Gallo's just done, man. He's done.
Yeah.
What value are you gonna get for him? I mean, buy him out. Shemet's the same. You can argue that there's still a hot commodity of shooters. You see Duncan Robinson in Miami, but if you saw it when we played Miami, he a little more than a shooter. I mean, against the Wizards, he was driving on us. So,
right.
It's just I don't see much value. DeLon has taken a step back. To me, Tyus is the only vet that has value. Now you can say Kyle Kuzma, but I mean, I don't know if they move him this year. I think he's going to be here for at least a couple of years, in my opinion. Now they could very well move him in the offseason, but I don't see him being a deadline move, man. I think that he's still a really good influence in his locker room because, like I said, I like what I saw from Kyle Kuzma, man, just from a leadership standpoint. Talking to Denny, kind of giving him pointers, helping with his confidence, man, because we all know that, look, with Denny is a confidence thing. And for him to set him up for that 3, and I mean, the boost his confidence, man, that's it a lot. But yeah, as far as Gallo, Shemet, give him Marui and Johnny Davis minutes. I don't spy him out. Come on. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, we're rebuilding. They don't have value. Just would waste a bunch of time, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, Will Barton, who didn't have a good season, he played. I think he played better than some of these guys. Veterans right now, and he got bought out. So imagine if you're playing not as good as Will Barton, and he got bought out. So that's telling right there. Let's see here. Siva says keep Denny, Kuz, Gaff as backup center. Kispert is 7-man. Get rid of all the rest, including the biggest client of them all. West, what a joke. Yeah, I'll respond to this first. Keep Denny, Kuz, Gaff as backup center. Gaff is a backup. That's what he is. He's playing as a starter, but he's really not a starter. He's a darn good backup. I think if he was a backup, I think he'd probably be one of the best backup centers in the league. But right now, as a starting center, he's probably a bottom 5 starting center in the league. So he's playing out of position. He's being asked to do too much, and guys can't guard anyway. So they're not helping him out either. Our guards aren't helping him at all. Kispert is a 7-man. I'm fine with that. I think that's just where he is. Occasional guy off the bench, a shooter. Get rid of all the rest. Sure, I'm fine. Of course, you got to keep Bilal. You got to keep Denny. See what you got in him. Let Eugene play because he plays hard. Rollins plays hard. So basically that last part of the bench. And then you just got to see what you got in Poole for the rest of the year, whether he's going to get his value up or be here next year. Same thing with Kuzma. Kuzma's getting his value up. I think his value is starting to go up a little bit. It may not go up any higher than what it was last year, but, if he puts up 28, plays efficient ball like that, just not shacking a fool, then, yeah, I think championship contenders will certainly look for Kyle Kuzma and definitely offer a first-round pick if he can play like he did tonight, consistently like that. Doesn't have to put up 30, but if he plays efficiently and then not shacking the fool, I think he'll be fine. His value should be pretty good. So, yeah, Siva, in Wes, we already know what it is with Wes. You know what you're going to get with him. You're going to get, him playing zone, playing all bench lineup, losing leads. We just haven't had an opportunity to really have a lead to lose it this year. So, I mean, defense is bad. And all of it's not his fault. This roster, it is what it is. We don't have any bigs. So, I mean, they're just not a good roster. And that's just the plan right now with the team is to get the best draft pick as possible and look to the future and just stack up on draft picks.
Hey, the plan's working. They're well on their way, man. Because I know they almost every mock draft has us a number 1 with Ron Holland. So, it is what it is. And yeah, look, I mean, that is the plan. And obviously it's not fun to watch the plan, but that's the plan. But I mean, you hit all the nails in the head. It's just with Gaff, man. Like I said, I'm a big Gaff fan, man. It's just as a starter, he ain't it. He's just, I mean, tonight he looked good in the first quarter, dunking on folk. He's a lob threat. It's just, I need more energy than 1 quarter, man. I need more energy than 1 quarter to justify you getting an extension because that's a Tommy Shepard move. I felt like that was a little hurried, man. So yeah, and Lord knows we know about Tommy's moves. So so for me to really want him here long term as a backup, I need to see more, man, because right now he's very 1-dimensional. He needs to get on that cardio, man. And I know people are going to comment that you could probably get my cardio if you ain't on TikTok, but I ain't going to comment. But you know, it is what it is. It's just, I need to see more from Gaff, man. And I hope I do. I really do.
Right. Yeah. Dan 70 says Gallon moves slower than Jason Witten out there. Yeah, he does. He does. That's pretty damn slow. Let's see here. Sheldon T says, I guess my expectations are low. This was never a playoff caliber roster. I'm just hoping to see the young guys get better and play harder.
Yeah.
There was another comment where something about getting 10 wins. I think it was DMV for life. Kevin Colbert says, there's no way I can watch the Wizards this year if they're going to put a product on the court like that. Yeah, it's hard to watch. I mean, now, Kevin Colbert, if you're in the area, definitely try to get some tickets to the what's it called, the Loft, the seats that they put in this year. Definitely get some tickets to that. Just to get a good experience. You know, I think everybody should do that once in a lifetime. So, Kevin Colbert, certainly go out there and do that and try to stop a Cap one.
You set nobody up, man. You set people up. If they handed out free Hennessy, yeah, I'm there, man. But
no, they're giving out some bobbleheads this year. That's right. They gave us some T-shirts last time, but I don't know if it's enough for Kevin to go out there and watch it. Israeli, I guess we'll read Israeli fandom's comment, and then we'll read one more. We'll wrap it up for tonight. He says, I still think Denny's the face of the franchise, but Bilal is awesome to watch. He's going to be great. He had more points today than Johnny had combined until the last month of last season. That the stat you're commenting about the stats, I have to look that up. It sounds true, to be honest, but it's probably not. Johnny did barely play in any regular season games. He played primarily in the G League. So you might be right. I have to look at it, Israeli fandom. And then about him being the face of the franchise. Right now, we really don't have a face of the franchise. So I'm not really caring about that at this point. Yes, he's the longest tenured Wizard, but we personally don't have a face of the franchise at this point.
G Wiz is the face of the franchise.
G Wiz.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, you know, Bilal, I mean, you can see the potential with Bilal, man. I'm very intrigued. I think he's going to develop them to be a dog, man. You see the dog in him is just, he's got to be more aggressive. But Denny's, look, Denny is definitely, I mean, I don't know about face the franchise, but he's definitely making his contract look like it might be a bargain in the long run. I mean, you know, he's really coming to his own offensively, man. But I see people already. But no, I mean, overall, I've been impressed with Denny this year, man. He's shown out offensively. He really is. And this is all we've been asking for him, you know. So
right, yeah. Bilal, he had some good moments today. King Bilal says Kuz will get his numbers to get traded. It's obvious. Yeah. That's what the plan is. So put up 28 points. If he plays a full game, he might have had 40. If he would have played all 4 quarters, and it just gets trade value up. Other teams are watching for sure. Other teams are looking, and that's part of the plan. So kudos to Kuz for doing that tonight. I guess the last comment is here. Preach Wizards podcast. He said, I saw a fire lit under Kuz and Denny to become winners tonight. They're learning what it is to have all the pressure of winning on them. I'll just say this real quick. Yeah, Brandon, you brought up earlier, they were talking to each other on the bench. They were covering their mouths. They weren't laughing, which is a good sign because typically, you know, we've seen them laugh and lose by 20, 25. We saw that last year, too, when they were losing and laughing on the bench. So it looked like they had a legitimate conversation there about improving or just making adjustments on the court, even though they just don't have the roster. So I didn't mind that conversation. You know, not like I'm the person who, you know, is a ruler or anything, but I didn't mind that conversation. It looked like a good basketball discussion that they were having.
Absolutely, man. Look, Kyle Kuzma has championship experience. You know, Jordan Poole, you know, we know that he has ways to go, but he's got championship experience. So these guys can learn something. You know, I like to see Kuz out there being that leader. Denny seems like he's a sponge. He likes to soak up a lot of that, man. So that's what you want to see from a guy, especially a guy that just sign a bag, man. You know, some people sign those bags and they kind of lift their foot off the gas a little bit. He wants to become a better player. And he, you know, we know what Denny can do on the defensive end, man. But offensively, he has impressed me this year. He's been consistent. So, yeah, I love to see it. I love to see that on the sidelines, man.
Yep, we're going to wrap it up tonight. We want to thank you guys for listening. Win, lose, or draw. Make sure you guys check us out tomorrow and make us your first listen every day. We will be having David Harrison on tomorrow night, and we will be previewing the Hornets game on Wednesday. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hell to the Wizards and the Commanders since they won.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good one, and peace.